After World War II, the United States, France, United Kingdom, and Russia decided how to split Germany in the Yalta Conference. It was ultimately decided that Germany would be split in 4 zones, and so would the city Berlin. West Berlin, which was controlled by the US, France, and the UK, it was much more prosperous than East Berlin. This is due to West Berlin getting funded from the Marshall Plan and the economy that was established. In the East, a communist system was established, and many people suffered under oppressions of the Communist Party. Many doctors, engineers, and skilled workers started leaving to go to the West. The Soviets didn't want to lose more of these valuable citizens and decided to begin closing borders. In May 1952, the open border between East and West Germany was closed by the East government. In the years after, it became extremely difficult to escape to the West over the border. While the wall wasn't a wall yet, many people began to flee to the West. People who lived in the West wanted the U.S. to stop the wall from being built, but the U.S. didn't because it violated the agreements they made in the Yalta Conference. Now, Americans could go bomb the Soviets, but now, since the Soviets have nuclear bombs, America didn't want to start a nuclear war. So the wall was built and no more road traffic was allowed in or out. USSR did this in hope to starve out the West to bring them together under communist rule. To keep West Berlin afloat, the US and Britain flew cargo planes that carried supplies. The airlift delivered more than 200,000 tons of cargo per month. The wall was originally built out of barbed wire, then later to 12 to 15-foot concrete walls along with guard towers that were equipped with guns. People caught trying to escape were shot on sight. At the top of the wall, it was rounded like a tube. This was to make it hard to get a good grip to climb. The wall also had landmines in certain areas and a thing called tank traps to prevent people from trying to drive through the wall. Before people even got to the wall, they had to face rows of barbed wires and strong searchlights. There is a gap between the barbed wires and wall which is heavily patrolled with tanks and soldiers. There was a total of 116 watchtowers that were maintained 24 hours a day by armed guards. It took a workforce of 100,000 guards to keep watch. On the west side of the wall, it had graffiti. They drew symbols of peace, hope, and wrote unifying messages as they hoped one day they would be together again. Before the wall was built, some East Germans planned to move to the West. Many had apartments and jobs over in the West because they were trying to save up money to bring their whole family over. What seemed a great plan at first turned to be heartbreaking as many families were split apart because of the wall. In 1987, President Ronald Reagan gave his famous speech where he said, "Open this gate or tear down this wall." On the night of November 9th, 1989, crowds began to dismantle the Berlin Wall, which was a symbol of the Cold War and the division in Europe. 13 months later, on December 26, 1991, Gorbachev resigned and USSR dissolved. As the wall fell, families, friends, and neighbors were reunited. A big celebration went on when Berlin was reunited. The fall of the Berlin Wall was the most influential event in history because it was more than just a barrier and a physical division of East and West Berlin. It was a symbolic boundary between communism and capitalism. Its fall in 1989 was celebrated by the free world. The Berlin Wall was a symbol of the suppression of human rights during the Cold War. The fall of the wall allowed for a complete reform of politics in East Germany. The fall of the wall undeniably a good thing. Eastern European countries can now look forward to growth. This ended the Cold War without it turning it into a nuclear war.